Only D Live.
What the haters talking about?
What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you're representing. Family, I need you to smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already on YouTube after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. I'll let a few hundred of y'all come in, then I'm going in. But in the meantime and in between time, I'm gonna give a few shots out really, really quickly so I can get into this story. What's up? What's up? What's up? Patrice James. What's up? Mimi D. London in the building. Denver, Colorado. Raymond Mose. What's up? Engine. Number 9. Delmico Taylor. Robert Fitz. What's up? Who we got there? LM. Natasha Lucas, Dayton, Ohio in the building. I'm going in, fam. Going in on this one right here. We got our subject here, Lamar Whitehead. Lamar is the flamboyant Brooklyn preacher who was convicted of defrauding a parishioner's mother and attempting to commit extortion. For his troubles, Lamar was sentenced to 9 years in prison by a federal judge in Manhattan today. It will be a long time before Lamar will be able to once again dress himself in Gucci and Louis Vuitton. I ain't got no problem with that. Say, fam, Lamar is a piece of work. Lamar is accused of defrauding an old lady, a retired nurse, running through her savings. Woman said she had $90,000 saved up. And, you know, when he got that money, she said she gave the money to him in hopes that he could help her get a house. Yeah, she gave the money to him so he could help her get a house. And he allegedly took the money and went and bought himself some nice outfits and some bling. Y'all remember this guy, right? He was known as the Bling Pastor. The Bling Pastor. Now, he was already in custody after Judge Lorna G. Schofield revoked his bail last month, admonishing him for making false statements about law enforcement officials and his victims on social media. Prosecutors have said that after his conviction in March, he had even tried to sell legal documents from his case online. The judge told Mr. Whitehead, "I don't see any remorse for your conduct." She added that he did not appear to appreciate the impact of his crimes or the basic facts of the case. Two of Mr. Whitehead's victims, Rashid Anderson and Mr. Anderson's mother, Pauline Anderson, addressed the judge before she rendered her sentence. Miss Anderson, as I told you before, who is a nurse, broke down as she described how she had spent a lifetime working only to lose $90,000 from her retirement savings when she gave it to Mr. Whitehead to help her achieve her dream of buying a home. She said, "I lost everything. I had to work for it. She added later that the betrayal broke my heart, my spirit, and my soul. In a memo to the judge before sentencing, prosecutors argued that Mr. Whitehead was a career con man and liar who had committed fraud for more than 2 decades. They said he had abused his position as a religious leader to rake in millions, much of which he spent on fancy clothes and luxury cars. Let's stop right there, family. Let's stop right there. The judge went in on Mr. Whitehead because, in her opinion, Mr. Whitehead was, well, actually, in the prosecutor's opinion, Mr. Whitehead was a career con and liar who had committed fraud for more than 2 decades. They said he had abused his position as a religious leader to rake in millions, much of which he spent on fancy clothes and luxury cars. And the judge seemed to agree, because the judge sentenced Mr. Whitehead, Pastor Bling, Pastor Flashy, Pastor Step Back, I'm too sharp, I might cut you, to 9 years in prison. Family, when you hear this, I got to say this one more time. When you hear these words, what comes to mind? What comes to mind? This is the memo before the sentencing, the memo to the judge before the sentencing, the sentencing by the prosecutors. This is the prosecutors writing a memo to the judge to go in on Mr. Whitehead. He's a career con and liar. Who does this remind you of? A career con, it rhymes with Don. A career con and liar who had committed fraud for more than 2 decades. They said he had abused his position as a religious leader to rake in millions, much of which he spent on fancy clothes and luxury cars. Right off the top of my head, I can name at least a dozen pastors who fit that description, who are allowed to keep all of their millions and all of their fancy clothes and all of their fancy jewelry and die old and decrepit without ever serving 1 day in jail, not once getting arrested. There are literally dozens of preachers out there raking in millions and millions of dollars. Now, I'm sure. Now, what this dude did was bad. I mean, robbing an old lady out of her savings. How low can you go? But let's call a strike and a ball here, y'all. There are dozens of pastors out there who are robbing old ladies out of their retirement funds, out of their savings. Dozens. I bet you if you go around and you take a poll right now, there will be countless victims in every church you go to. And the bigger those churches are, the larger the head count would be. So why does Mr. Whitehead get such a lengthy sentence? I watch American Greed all the time. It's white boys on American Greed who sometimes steal billions. In fact, one actually stole over $1 billion. I think it was 2 billion, 1.5, 2 billion. They gave this dude like 8-9 years for stealing billions. And let's get to the admonishment from the judge. The judge was telling you don't feel any remorse and you're attacking law enforcement and da. Donald Trump do that. Well, did it every single day he was in court. The judge didn't do nothing. Not once did they hold him in contempt of court, at least I haven't heard of it. Well, they put him in jail for breaking the rules, for not keeping his trap shut. Not only did he talk down about law enforcement, he talked down about the prosecution and the judge, and they did nothing. So don't try to act all tough when you got little old Bishop Whitehead from Brooklyn. Keep that same energy. But see, family, they ain't got the balls to keep the same energy because they know who to mess with and who not to. I got to call it out, fam. I just don't like the hypocrisy. I don't like the bias that they show. Donald Trump was as much of a thug defendant as anybody has ever been. And this dude, y'all saw it daily, breaking all of the rules. And they did nothing to admonish him, nothing. He talked about the judge like a dog. The judge. Usually you talk about the judge, man, you going to jail. They going to hold you in contempt of court. The judge they'll give you some extra time on top of time. Man, keep it consistent. Yeah, I'm pretty sure dude did what he was accused of doing. So he got to get it. He got to get something. But I'm talking about by comparison, if you look at the crimes, these fraud crimes that are committed in America every single day, these white collar crimes every single day that's committed in America, dude didn't pull out no gun, didn't have a mask on, didn't pull out a gun and rob her. He didn't beat across the head with a pipe. He finessed her. He finessed her. She handed over the money to him. Not under duress. She just handed it to him. Okay, Bishop, here you go. Boom. 9 years? Now, I get it. If 9 years is the standard for doing something like that, yeah, run it. But that ain't the standard. Unless you're black. Boom, that's right, I said it. Unless you're black. This for all y'all out there that's always talking that, well, how come you always got to bring race into it? Because race is always into it in America. It's always a factor. The only people who say why you always got to talk about race and bring race into it are those who benefit from the bias, from the double standards of race. And those jigaboos who wake up every day trying to impress them and gain favor. Yeah, I know you don't like me. I know you don't like me. I'm fine with that. In fact, I like that you don't like me. I don't want nobody liking me that ain't decent. Yeah. I want you uncivilized mutts not to like me. Yeah, I ain't got no problem with it. I'm gonna call a strike and a ball a ball. 9 years. And they can't prove dude stole no millions. He probably did, but they ain't got no evidence at all. If they had it, they would have presented it. And then they try to act like they really care about the old lady suffering. They really try to act like they really care about that old lady. They don't care nothing about that old lady. They use that old lady to put boy in jail. That's what they use her to put him in jail. Because otherwise they care nothing about that old lady. They care nothing about her son. They out here gunning down sons of black old ladies every day. grandsons of black old ladies. They don't care nothing about no old black lady. It's almost like when you go to when if you're a defendant, if you're in a case, you're a defendant. If you get on the stand and defend yourself, they're not going to believe you. They're going to argue. The prosecution is going to argue that you're not believable. They're going to argue that you're lying. They're going to say you're lying. Let's say you're a convicted felon, and now you're on the witness stand for a different case, and you're testifying in your own defense. The prosecution is going to tell the whole courtroom to not believe you, specifically the jurors. They're going to instruct those jurors, do not believe that guy. He's a convicted felon. But when they want you to testify for them against someone else, they want the jury, they tell the jury to believe you. You're trustworthy now all of a sudden. All of a sudden now you're trustworthy because you're helping to put away somebody else. So now everything you say believable, even though you got 12 bodies. You sold 5,000 tons of cocaine. You got 3 corpses in a freezer in your house, but they want them to believe you. Now you're trustworthy because you're helping them. The double standards and the hypocrisy, man, is absolutely off the chain. I absolutely believe this dude is a crook. I absolutely believe he's a crook. But just because I believe he's a crook, just because I believe he's a low-down, dirty, uncivilized mutt who stole from an old lady, does not mean that I say they should be able to do whatever they want to do with him if they ain't got that same energy for everybody else. And keep in mind, if you got that same pigmentation that he got, oh, it can absolutely happen to you. Maybe they don't get you for robbing some old lady. Maybe they falsely accuse you of something. That's the way the system is set up to be to hold up this double standard. So I ain't riding for this dude under no circumstances. I absolutely believe he's a crook and he deserves to be punished. But keep that same energy. You think Donald Trump just got convicted of how many crimes? 35 or something like that? How many days in jail you think, in prison, you think Donald Trump is gonna do? I can guarantee you he don't do 9 years. If he do a day, I'm willing to bet that he won't serve 1 day in prison, let alone 9 years. 35 felonies. I'm not gonna kick dude while he down, because in the back of my mind, I know the reason why he's in the position that he's in is beyond. I'm talking about the sentencing part. I'm not saying that, essentially he's in prison because he committed a crime. So it starts right there. Don't commit the crime, you ain't got to worry about the time. But after the fact, he committed the crime. The reason why he got 9 years is because he's a black man in America. That's why he got 9 years. It ain't got nothing to do with robbing an old lady. It ain't got nothing to do with swindling millions of dollars out of his congregation. Every damn pastor in this country with a mega church And many of them who don't have mega churches swindle these parishioners every single day. Some of them brag about it. They brag about how big their house is and their private jets. In the grand scope of pastors scamming their congregation, this dude is a peon. These other pastors got a whole team. Some of them got 1,000 employees, 500 employees, 100 employees on the payroll. They getting paper. This dude seemed like he was just more concerned with looking like he got it. He taking the money buying clothes. He ain't had no jet money. Don't look like he had no jet money. I don't even think he had no mansion money. Well, you can rent a mansion. That ain't no big deal. He probably had mansion money. But you catch my drift. You're picking up what I'm throwing down. He got the lady for her savings, told her he was going to get her a house in the church's name because she didn't have good credit. She never got the house. That's just one of the situations. So that's how he got it. Look, you ain't got good credit. I'm gonna get the house for you in the church's name. Younger people out there, check on your family, check on your people, check on your elderly parents, and make sure you talk to them on a daily basis. Because there are people out there that scam the elderly on a daily basis. Every day. You can't assume because you're not hearing from your elderly family member that everything is okay. Somebody could be draining their bank account while you're not speaking to them, while you haven't heard from your parents. Somebody could be draining their bank account. You should really get an understanding with your elderly loved ones. You should get an understanding with your elderly loved ones to talk to you before they make financial decisions. And you got to do that in a way where they understand. I'm talking about those of you who have very close ties to that elderly loved one, and they trust you. But you got to say it in a way, you got to convince them in a way that it's best that you deal with it. You just want to add an extra layer of protection. They're going to make the final call. You know, they get to make the final decision, but you just want to make sure you look out for them and you check it out. You got to say it kind of like that. You want to check things out and make sure that nobody's trying to take advantage of them, right? It's almost you got to let them know that you just an extra, you know, you're a teammate, right? You're an extra layer of protection, an extra set of eyeballs and ears to look out for them. You got to have that conversation because there are people who prey on the elderly on a daily basis, all day, every day. Elderly people get preyed on. Some of us are in our 40s and 50s and we still falling for scams. So imagine somebody that's in their 70s or 80s or even 90s, how somebody can get over on them. Yeah. So, yeah, keep those, because somebody who have who's a little sharper, you know, who got their faculties together, Everything's all the way intact. They would have heard her saying that she's going to give the pastor $90,000 and he going to put the house in the church name because she ain't got good credit. They would have heard that and they would have been like, no, mama, no, big mama, that don't sound like a good idea. That don't sound good. That don't sound right. Let me talk to him. Okay, what you going to do now? So you're going to put it in the church name. So that means that if you put it in church name, that means that the church going to own the house. Mama ain't going to own the house. Well, yeah, see, but we can always transfer it back in her name. So you can always, when you going to do that? Well, right after we buy the house, we're going to give it a year. That's how they talk. We'll give it a year. That's how they rock you to sleep. We'll give it a year. So now you ain't thinking about it. Next thing you know, a year turned into 2 years. Next thing you know, they can't get it out the church house. They can't get it out the church name because Granny still got bad credit. Or something, they're going to come up with something, right? Somebody on the outside that's connected to that family member, a red flag would have came up and they would have been able more than likely to prevent something like that from happening. So to those of us who are getting up in age, we got to start thinking like that in our minds already. Who do we know that we really trust? Who? Maybe you don't have kids, but you got a niece, you got a nephew, maybe somebody in the family is a lawyer or something like that. And you got to be careful even with them. But, find the one who got a little business sense, and try to find somebody that that, okay, if something go down when it comes to this business thing, whatever, at least nephew can take a look at it. My niece can take a look at it. My son, my grandson, my granddaughter can take a look at this stuff before I make any financial decisions. And I ain't talking about just selling the house. I'm talking about decisions, even decisions like, coming in to repair do some plumbing repairs or something, paint, put in a generator, whatever. Talk to your people. Be open to letting other people vet these folks before you start opening up your bank account. Because next thing you know, you have to get back out there and get a job. This happens a lot. Older people, a lot of times you see older people who are out there working. It ain't that they didn't save. It ain't that they did not have money. A lot of them got scammed. And now you see them at the door at Walmart greeting. Yeah, some of them do come out of retirement because they want something to do and they need something to do. They might be sick, they might be good. My granny is like that. She good, but she just go to work because she like it. She likes something to do. She like to, still feel important. Everybody like her. People speaking to her and all that kind of stuff. She like that. But there's a lot of older people out there that are working who would rather not be working. But they're out there working because somebody ran through their money. Could have been their own children. May have been their grandchildren. Could have been a family friend. Could have been a devious spouse. But they got to get back out there. So check in with your people. Check in with your people. Going to the comments. Voodoo Glitch. What up, April? Green Rodney 45. Rodney Green 45. Huh. Buckhorse DC, what up? China Carter. Ruth. What's up, Ruth? Oh yeah, fam. Willie D Live Tour is gearing up. First stop is in Houston, September 9th. Go get your tickets at willied.com. willied.com. Yeah, you can go over there right now. Get your tickets at willied.com. If you're in Houston or in the Houston area or plan to be on September 9th, go to the website right now, willied.com, and get your tickets for the podcast tour. Yeah, man, it's going down. Live performance, Q&A, masterclass, all that good stuff. And a signed book, my newest book. I'm saying my newest book like I got some other ones. My only book. But my first book, the more I try to teach you, the dumber I get, is finally being released. Yeah. What's good, Roberto Carlos? Storm Fluent. Stephen Tenor. What's up? Stephen Tenor. T. Higgins. Appreciate you. Matt Schaefer. Broski. What up, Broski? Lisa Matt. Miss Jazzy is in the building. What's up, Miss Jazzy? Jeffrey Lovecat. Who is that? King Blacks. What's up? R. Braswell. Brayswell. Is that Brayswell? Go with Brayswell. DD. What's up, DD? Jonathan Israel. Vanessa Bennett. Yeah, that's good stuff, Vanessa. What's up, Spencer Blood? Estate plan with your folks. Yeah, man. And check on your elderly, man. And also, man, some of y'all got elderly family members and friends of the family that are in senior living facilities, you know, convalescent homes. Man, go check on your people. It don't take that long. Even if you just go in, dip in, show your face, and then walk out. It don't take that long. You got time. You got time. Go check on your people. You might walk in there right in the middle of something going on, and you be like, "Whoa, hold on, what the hell y'all doing?" You know, if something going on in that senior living facility, more than likely you're not going to find out through your loved one. So don't be thinking, well, they ain't called me and told me nothing. They might not even know they being violated. You got to go check on your people, man. Check on your people. A lot of times when your people are in those facilities, even in the hospitals, when the people the caretakers know that that patient, that guest have family and friends who check on them regularly, they come by, they make sure they ask questions, make sure that their people good, they tend to treat those patients and guests a little better. Right or wrong? They tend to treat them a little better because they know somebody checking. Somebody checking. Go up in there. Man, I'll go in there and ask questions. I don't care about all them fancy words some of them doctors and stuff be using. Hey, man, okay, you said what? Okay, go back. Go back to Vina Wada that word. What's that word? What does that mean? Okay, break it down in layman's terms, because I need to. Because I didn't go to medical school. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, what is that supposed to do? Okay. Okay, in your opinion, is it working? Okay. What would you do if it was your loved one? Ask them questions, man. A lot of times those doctors be actually wanting people to ask questions. And we don't ask questions a lot of times because we feel like we might hurt the doctor's feelings. You know, no, they want you to ask questions oftentimes. Those doctors be going in there. Sometimes your loved one might be in the hospital and they might have 3 or 4 visits from the doctor in one day, different doctors, you know, in one day, different types of doctors in one day. So they coming in and out. So they'll stop in because they go in hospital room to hospital room. So they stop in, say what they got to say. Yes, you guys have any questions? Okay. All right, Mr. Williams. I'll see you next week. And they just walk on out. Don't let them walk on out. I never let them just walk on out. Even if I don't understand something. If I don't understand it, I'm really going to ask questions then. I'll never let them just walk on out. I'm asking questions. Mr. Opinion, what's up? Baby dog Camilla. That Camila or Camilla? Camila. I'm going with Camila. Brian Toller, what's up? Deep East Oakland checking in. Who was this? Sir Baby Mob King. Kevin Easley. Okay, fam. I think that's my time. Yeah, that's my time, fam. Got to get ready to bring this other report to y'all in a minute. But I appreciate y'all joining live. Make sure y'all go check out willied.com website for my tour dates. And if you're in Houston, September 9th, H-Town is the first date. H-Town stand up. September 9th. I'm coming. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world, family. Until next time. No more talk.